Hello Planet Internet, I'm Emperor Cole. This is Emperor Cole Film Review, brought to you by MindBenderENT.com. And today I'm here to review Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Everybody, let's get ready to take this ride together, and let's make sure those alien symbiotes are not eating too many brains and taking over the city. Let's do it! Okay, so Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This movie is directed by Andy Serkis, written by Kelly Marcel, with a story by Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel. And right off the top, I'm going to say that this movie is, if you enjoyed the first movie, it's very likely you're going to enjoy this one as well. This movie, from a writing and a directing standpoint and the way the story is told, it's far more of an early 2000s type of superhero film than the more sophisticated ones that we've been getting since 2008, 2009 going forward. Basically, the type of films that are in the Marvel MCU proper are far more sophisticated, with nuanced characters and with characters that have strong character development, and you see why characters are the way they are, what happened to them in the past that made them so jaded, angry, yada yada yada, and you see the way relationships develop over time. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This movie, it's an enjoyable popcorn superhero flick, but there are several instances where the character development, I feel like, should have been far more deeper, and there should have been several scenes set up to show certain relationships between certain characters and to emphasize certain things. So, what do I mean? This is more of a 2000s type of superhero film more than a more recent or up-to-date one. Well, for one example, the characters are all one note. And what I mean by that is Woody Harrelson's Carnage. Throughout the whole entire film, he's this angry bad guy just for the sake of being an angry bad guy. So there is no rhyme or reason, particularly why he became a serial killer. It's explained in words at one point towards the very end of the film, but it does not have the emotional impact that they were going for at all. And like I said, he's just a mustache twirling bad guy just to be a bad guy. He just wants to see the world burn, which is okay. But at the same time, if you're going to be that way, there has to be some reason how you got that way. There have to be some scenes that really establish it so that it hits home emotionally for the audience why this guy is the way he is. So a lot of the early films in the early 2000s were like that, where bad guys were just bad guys and you just have to accept them as being bad. And even Tom Hardy as Venom, or Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, he's in one note as well for the most of the film as well. He's just trying to figure out what's going on. He's always in like this state of confusion, and he's always having these back and forths with Venom. Characters don't have highs, lows, ups and downs. They're not very nuanced characters at all. And it kind of just is what it is, and that's not the way superhero films have been made most recently. The back and forth banter between Eddie Brock and Venom I thought was done very well. It is very entertaining to see the two of them having this dialogue and quipping back and forth with each other, where Venom always wants to do bad things and Eddie Brock is trying to stop him and let him know we can't do these things or we'll end up in prison. And I thought that was something that was very entertaining. A lot of the conversation between the two of them, it's really funny. And it was done in such a way where it was stylized, and I thought it was done really cool, because obviously the character Venom is a very dark character in the comic books and even the cartoon. He's historically a bad guy. So even before he was the Lethal Protector in the comic book run where he becomes pretty much a good guy. But at the same time, like I said, he's historically more of a bad guy. He's more of a villain. So I thought Andy Serkis, the director, did a very good job of adding that banter in there to make it a little bit more lighthearted and to make such a dark character come off as likable and enjoyable for the actual audience. The storyline for this film is decent, but I feel like it would have benefited more from more character development from past events. For example, Cletus Kassady, who's the character that Woody Harrelson plays, aka Carnage, they're showing that he had a rough childhood when he was younger and some events took place, and this is supposed to have been some of that stuff was supposed to be the catalyst for why he became a serial killer later on. But the way it's depicted, he was already evil when he was young because he was doing things, you know? So I feel like if he was going to have this love interest throughout the film, I won't say who his love interest is or go too much deep into it, but he has a love interest in the movie. And if you want to show the reason why he had this soft spot in his heart for this one person, I feel like there should have been 2 or 3 scenes from when they were younger to show that he had this rough life and this was the one person who showed him some compassion. They should have showed these situations, at least 2 or 3 of these different situations. Could have been short scenes, no more than 2 or 3 minutes, and it would have given more character depth, and it would have been more of an explanation for some of the current events for things that happen later on, and it would have been an explanation for why this man is on such a rampage over this person. For example, in Forrest Gump, they showed Forrest Gump and several different scenes of him falling in love with Jenny, and they showed why he had such an affinity towards this woman and why he was willing to put up with such extreme situations later on in life. And I feel like had they done something like that, had the writer or the director decided, you know, we need 2 more scenes to show why this relationship developed, or to show what their common bond was when they were younger, and it's going to explain why he's hell-bent on finding or locating this person, or yada 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 later on in the more present scenes in the actual film, it would have made far more sense to me, and it would have been a much more deeper connection with the actual audience for the emotional sense. The visual effects in this film were done very well, and I feel like the way these symbiotes from Venom and Carnage, the way they interact with the people around them, the way they're picking people up, knocking holes through the walls and interacting with the physical things around them looks great. It looks very realistic for a superhero film. So the visual effects team did a hell of a job on this actual movie. The fight sequences and the action look very good. I enjoy those as well. The end fight scene, which is actually conducted in a church, that's not a spoiler because there are a couple clips of it in the actual trailer for the film. But that fight sequence is phenomenal. I thought that was done very well. And like I said, the visual effects on it, very, very tastefully done, and they look very realistic for a superhero film. I feel like Sony missed a little bit of an opportunity with this film with the way they edited it, and the fact that they cut this movie down to only be 90 minutes. It's like they were trying to make the runtime shorter so the film could play more times in theaters, so they could try to maximize on the money. Obviously, this film got pushed back because of the pandemic and all that, so it's almost like they made the movie shorter specifically for a money grab to make it easier to digest. But that from a storytelling standpoint, there's several opportunities in this film where the story of the characters should have been a little bit more deeper explored. As stated before, the relationship between Cletus Kassady and Eddie Brock, I feel like there should have been an explanation as to how they initially met. Cletus starts out where he's in prison already as a serial killer. That's not a spoiler because you see that in the actual trailer for the film. So the fact that he's already in prison, and he could have picked out any journalist to tell his story or what have you. They never show what was it about Eddie Brock. Why was he drawn to Eddie Brock? Why was that the one person that he requested to tell his story? That's never explained throughout the film. If it was, I missed it, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't explained, you know? So I feel like they should have delved deeper into that, and maybe there could have been some type of a reveal as to why he was interested in Eddie Brock. Overall, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, this is a serviceable, fun superhero film. It's not going to win any awards for its writing or directing or for having any Shakespearean deep themes or anything of that nature. But then again, when you go to see a film about an alien symbiote that connects with a man that's eating people's brains to sustain his life energy and got all this crazy madness going on, do you really expect to see that type of film? Of course not. You just want something that you want to shove popcorn in your face and you want to enjoy the actual movie. Also, the end credit scene for this movie is actually definitely worth the price of admission. The end credit scene is definitely something unique, and it's pointing that some things may be coming. Now it's time for me to give Venom, Let There Be Carnage a score on the MindBender movie meter. And I'm going to have to go with a score of 63%, 63%. On the MindBender movie meter, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This has been Emperor Cole's film review for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. If you enjoyed this review, definitely subscribe to this YouTube channel for more movie reviews and more content. Also, make sure you check us out on Instagram at MindBender Entertainment. Follow us on Twitter at MindBenderENT. And of course, make sure you check out the website, MindBenderENT.com. Of course, check us out on Facebook at MindBender Entertainment. And remember, the future is now.